Okay, friendos, what up? Welcome back. Today we're talking about Mindseye, as many people are going to be, because this is yet again another example of just a AAA flop, one of the sloppiest, shittiest games that they're probably going to release this year. That's probably going to result in a whole bunch of people losing their job for, I'm going to guess, incompetence from the top level, especially releasing the game in the state that it's in. You can see here, if you look at the trailer, like, it doesn't look like the worst game ever. It looks like it's cool. It looks like it has some cool concepts. It looks like something some people might see and think, oh yeah, that looks kind of fun. That looks interesting. And then obviously the game releases and it just runs like utter dog shit. It has terrible bugs constantly and it's getting really, really bad reviews. 40% of people have said, yeah, positive. But the funny thing is 40% of people is a very small pool of people anyway, because this game has got one of the worst launch populations I've seen for a AAA game ever. I mean, this is like Concord levels of utter dog shit. And this doesn't have any saving grace. You know, when some games release, they're on Game Pass, and you can be like, oh, you know, maybe there's millions of people playing it on Game Pass, as evidence shows us with games like Avowed or whatever, or Indiana Jones. But no, this is just, it's on PlayStation, it's on Epic Games, and it's on Xbox, and it's also on Steam. But obviously it's not on Game Pass. So these numbers, absolutely terrible. Like, as I said, one of the worst I've ever seen. And this is also going back to what we were talking about the other day with this Splitgate CEO coming out and just saying, yeah, I'm an incompetent mess. I don't even know what's happening at my company. I'm also some kind of like weird conspiracy theorist that like people from Call of Duty are sabotaging my game without me knowing. Like just some real weirdo shit. And that's kind of what this guy's done, because the co-CEO of Mindseye has claimed, and this was, bear in mind, this was a while ago, he claimed there is, quote, a concerted effort to trash the game and the studio, and has even suggested people are being paid or using spam bots to post negative comments. Now, if this was a game where all the cast were like gay people or women, I could understand being like, oh yeah, there's loads of people that are, you know, doing things to trash our game for no reason. But generally, like, I've not seen any of that. It's not been like the grifter sphere that's been attacking this game as far as I'm aware. But then you look at, like, this guy was asked in their Discord, quote, do you think that all the people who reacted negatively were financed by somebody? And he says 100%. You've got to understand the level of psycho delusion that you've got to be operating with for somebody to simply say to you, do you think, he didn't say, do you think some of the criticism, do you think, you know, some of the people have some kind of ulterior motive? He was asked, do you think all the people? And this guy's response was 100%, doesn't take much to guess who. So the Shadow Cabal's back. The fucking boogeyman has come for this guy's game that nobody cares about, let me remind you. Because, you know, this is not the amount of reactions of like a big game that people are really talking or caring about. This is like a small community Discord server level of interaction for their big Q&A. So this guy is under the impression that his game is so good that there isn't even the remotest possibility that even a singular human being could react negatively to their trailer or to their video game without being paid by the opposition, the boogeyman, whoever the fuck this guy thinks it is. This is like, you know, when a game releases and it's as bad as this one is, you know exactly who's to blame when people are acting like this, because this is beyond a level of fucking pathetic for somebody who's like a C-suite in a company that presumably has, you know, large amounts of funding to produce something that obviously looks AAA. Like, this game looks visually really good. There's a lot of people that have worked on this. There's a lot of money that's been spent on this. Probably not his money, probably investor money. And hopefully, based on the fact that this guy seems like a bit of a fucking nut job, he's going to be the one that loses his job and not the other people who probably had a real rough time working under somebody who seems like a fucking crazy. So this accusation sparked a number of shocked responses, including one who said a co-CEO for a studio implying another studio is paying previewers, why am I saying it like that, to talk negatively about your game is an absolutely wild comment to make in a public environment in any situation. True. I guess I didn't even mention that. It's not even, the worst thing isn't even that he feels this way, because if you feel that way, again, you're nuts. The only people that feel like everything that they do is so perfect, nobody could possibly even disagree with it, are nuts. But it's not the fact he feels that way, it's the fact that he felt comfortable saying this in text, in public, in a public forum. Just like somebody walking up to you and being like, are you a psycho? And you being like, yeah, I am, yeah, sure. He then responded saying, he responded to exactly that comment, saying, not wild when it's true. Have you got any evidence, my boy? No evidence at all, just my fucking adult brain. One such user, Cyberboy, sparked a separate response. Folks, I never said Cyberboy was being paid by anyone. So it was somebody specific criticizing the game. So he's responding to people saying, why are you saying this about this specific person? He says, I never said Cyberboy is being paid by anyone. I just said that there is a concerted effort by some people that don't want to see Leslie or build a Rocket Boy to be successful, that are making a concerted effort to trash the game in the studio. It's pretty easy to see the bots and the repeated replies to any content that we put out. Man, I didn't even know this game was fucking being released, I'm going to be honest. You'd have thought this was like the hypest release of the year for this to be the reaction, but he was then asked to clarify. Just to clarify, you believe that individuals, be it content creators or otherwise, have been paid off to criticize Mindseye. Gerhard then appeared to walk back the initial accusation, responding, no, I never said that. You fucking kind of did though, didn't you? I do know that there are bot farms posting negative comments and dislikes. Holy shit. The comments still live in the Discord at the time of the article's publication were subsequently picked up on social media and began to circulate online. He has then so far failed to provide evidence to back up his claims. Builder Rocket Boy and publisher IO Interactive, the studio behind Hitman, declined to comment when contacted by IGN. I mean, what are you going to say? Oh yeah, he's nuts. Like, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Prepare yourself, prepare Uranus. So one of the funny things about this, funnier than, well, probably not funnier than the psycho running this studio, is they thought this game was so good that they tried to do the we have more money than God approach of success, which was just piss hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into the wind by just paying every big content creator they possibly could to stream this game. And the game peaked out on Twitch at 137,000 viewers, 138 almost. And you would think from that level of engagement that the game would sell copies, even just by virtue of being seen by that many live eyeballs and all the VOD channels and whatever. Millions of people saw this game being played, which then makes the numbers of a peak of 3.3k and that dropping to a third within 48 hours it's actually so mystifyingly bad that it's hard to really put into words. And it was actually so bad that in the middle of Carnage was about to do his sponsored segment on the stream, and they just contacted him. He was literally loading the game up.
Chad. What?
He was loading the game up. He was about to start playing with a sponsored segment. They'd paid him to do this. And then they just said, oh yeah, sorry, we're pausing the sponsored segment, which hopefully Co gets paid because he'll have, spent time emailing back and forth about this, corresponding, spent his time he could have been doing something else, maybe missed a sponsored segment he could have done for something else. It's not his fault the game's dog shit. They said, here's, an amount of money we'll pay you to do a sponsored segment of this game. Everyone else has done the sponsored segment already. As it came to him, they probably thought, fuck, our game's a failure. Everybody hates it. It's getting review bombed. The cabal are against us. We need to save some of this money. We need to, let's get in contact with Co and tell him not to stream the game, and maybe they'll give him half, maybe they'll give him nothing. Hopefully he gets fully paid, because again, he wasted his time here. But they pulled the sponsorship, or at least paused it. I don't think he's clarified exactly what happened, but it just goes to show you can put hundreds of thousands of dollars in the right place of marketing, and if the thing you're marketing is awful, it's just going to make everybody know that your game's awful. Like, this game is fucked now forever. This studio is forever tainted, because you've got to think the amount of actual time and effort it takes to correspond with and launch a game and launch all the marketing around this. They had paid ads everywhere for the last few weeks. They've obviously paid all these streamers and these YouTubers and stuff. They didn't even send review copies of this game out. So the free advertising they would have gotten from people beforehand being given copies of the game and doing a review, like the typical thing that happens, that didn't even happen. I've seen conflicting reports on this of either there was no review code sent out, or they were sent out so late that no publication could have got a review out in time. And obviously everybody at the studio would have known this game was not ready. So whatever it was that forced them into launching this, thinking that it was, and putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in streamers and content creators' pockets to show people their fucking dumpster fire of a game. In fact, it seems like the only positive thing I can say about this game is that it's released at £55, whatever that is in your local currency. What actually is that? That's $60. So the only positive thing is that it's $60 instead of $70 or the $80 that's probably going to be upcoming for some video games. So kudos to them for that. They released an actual turd for $60 instead of asking you for $70. I'm trying to be more positive in life generally, so that's my take at positivity when it comes to games like this. So to the co-CEO, who originally, when the game was being reacted to negatively by some people, it wouldn't have been reacted to by everybody as being bad. I wonder if he's going to see the reaction to this and think that the money's been spread around and everybody's been paid again to just trash their game for no reason. And sometimes I feel bad when games fail, because most of the people involved in making a video game are not to blame when a game fails. It's the higher-ups that are usually the issue, the money men that are usually the issue. The people that try to push and pull things in directions where the people who know what they're doing don't want to go, they know it's not going to work, and they just kind of have to do it anyway because that's their job. And then it ends up with those people losing their jobs, unfortunately. There will be incredibly talented people, incredibly hardworking people that worked on this. And if I had to guess, it's been ruined by people like this. Because if there's one thing that comes from looking at things consistently, it's that if somebody is this dysfunctional in their logic and thinking about things, that putting information like this out into the public is a good idea. Their actual thought process and their way of doing things is probably going to be really fucked up. So I'm just looking forward to, in the next couple of days or weeks, interviews with this dude, or if he makes any comments or posts on the Discord, because I'm going to guess it's going to be fucking hilarious. Either way, Mindseye, don't buy this game. Don't give this company any money. Give them exactly what they deserve, which is yet another promise everything, do nothing, shitty games that's going to fall into complete obscurity. Personally, I've said for years that I'd love for game developers, especially studios that aren't owned by big publishers, to get more involved with their community and have conversations with people and stuff. But I guess recent history is proving that is great for content and really funny, but not good for these companies. I mean, the game still would have failed without this dude being a clown, but obviously it's a really bad look. There we go. Thanks for watching as always. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll keep an eye on whether or not he says something else on social media. He's probably already said something since then, or he's been hiding in a fucking bunker, probably with his little tinfoil hat on. Go buy some gamer subs if you want to support my content. They're running promotions constantly. I don't know what's currently on. You can buy gamer juice, gamer powder, tons of different flavors. Put it in some water, shake it, drink it. They have caffeinated, uncaffeinated. They also sell amazing pajamas and merch and stuff like this. Just really comfortable, really warm sweats. And yeah, if you use my code, you'll get a discount. I'll get money kicked back of anything you spend. Win-win for everybody, and I'll see you next time. Suggest content you want to see me cover, and yeah, stay safe. Peace.